Sticks is leaving. Goodbye, Sticks. Hello, Googans.
Hello.
It's After Drill.
Hi.
Beef here.
Drew.
You just missed Sticks.
Just missed him.
Too bad. He was just watching a really good Q&A, man on the street Q&A session about the Jags.
We won't even say on the street. It was in
at a grocery store. We won't bog you down with the details of it. It was a bad question, and it was also featured a lot of bad answers. Welcome in. It's Tuesday, Super Tuesday here.
Oh, yeah.
On After Drill, as the Jags barrel down towards the date with Destiny and a date with the Miami Dolphins on Sunday, and a date with what many believe and hope will be their 11th loss on the season. Jags yesterday, more bad news on the injury front for an already injured team. Fresh off the heels of cutting Barry Church, they've placed Ronnie Harrison on the IR with a knee injury.
That's fine. Let's be as bad as we can be for the next two games.
There is some merit to that, sure.
We had the conversation weeks ago.
We did.
Would you rather the team tank or win out? And at the time, I said I want to win football games. Right. But now I've changed my stance. I'm in full tank mode.
Tank out?
Yeah.
Well, especially because now it's like, look, you want to be as high as possible in the draft order if you're going QB, because you either want to be in position to take the QB without having to move, or you want the move to be as minimal as possible. Because when you look at the moves teams have made to jump up and get quarterbacks, they've had to give up a lot of capital to do that.
Not to mention, do you really feel that much better about 6-10 than you do 4-12?
No, of course you don't.
They're both awful.
No, how many times have we had these wins at the end of the season? And it's like, and then you get around to draft time. It's like, how good is that? Christmas win over the Colts.
This is about par for the course. This is the Jaguars I know and love.
Yes,
4-12.
They'll screw up and win these two games.
5-11. Yeah, they could screw up. Like they might go up and Cody Kessler might throw 4 touchdowns against the Dolphins.
Right.
I mean, who knows?
And by the way, if Cody Kessler goes and puts 4 touchdowns on the Dolphins, as a plus, well, maybe not a plus, but as an aside, our friend Balls Davis, who's already dead, but he will possibly throw himself off a bridge if Cody Kessler goes down and leads some Jaguar barnstorming effort in Miami.
I wonder if there was like a prop bet you could put on that, how much that would pay out. If you were like, Cody Kessler's going to have a 4-touchdown game, like, yeah, put in $10 to win $8 million.
You could probably get some large odds on that, yeah. You could probably get some real strong odds on that.
Yeah,
but
I think so,
probably
too.
wouldn't take that bet, based on what we saw the last couple weeks.
Oh, absolutely not. What is it?
We have 31 offensive drives with Kessler and 1 touchdown.
Was it even a passing touch? Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was the Dede one that he probably wasn't even in on, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah. So that's that. So 4 seems steep.
Steep 4 seems a little steep.
To ask for all code.
Code.
Codes. Now you're wondering, after watching the codes, it's like, I'm not sure I want codes back next year.
No. Codes could hit the roads.
Codes could hit the bricks, man. We'll
codes hit the roads.
Tanner Lee or whoever.
Yeah.
In the backup role. But yeah, I mean, it seems like QB is going to be the call in round 1, and just a matter of who, not, if. But, it's a cautionary tale as well. It's a tale as old as time. We talked about this on the drill yesterday. That, how many times have we gone into a light QB draft and targeted QB and got QB and watched a Hall of Fame defender go a pick or 2 after the QB goes?
Yeah, quite often.
It happened to us a lot.
Yeah.
So almost, and this is, viewed by those who in the know, your experts, to be not the best QB crop. Doesn't mean there won't be good players. There's been drafts that were thought of as not good QB crops that generated good players, and there's drafts that were thought to have been strong QB crops that didn't generate much. So it's all just opinions at this point. But it seems like Haskins is working his way to the front of the line of the QB crop. Of course, a lot of people like Herbert too from Oregon.
Yeah,
those seem to be the 2 guys.
It doesn't seem like people have nearly as many concerns about Haskins as they do Herbert. Just based off of what I've read, like a lot of people think Herbert's really good, but they said basically that there's parts of his game that concern them in the consistency aspect. Which is scary, but...
And both guys, you question the level of competition because, Haskins has only been doing it for 1 year as a starter, and, the Big Ten wasn't exactly, gangbusters this year. And, Herbert playing at Oregon is in the Pac-12 where nobody is ever any good ever anymore.
The thing about Herbert is that he was only healthy like 6 games or 7 games last year, whatever it was. And then this year, he was just really not that good.
Right, he was healthy and he was really inconsistent. That makes me nervous. We've had enough inconsistent guys around here. I'd like a guy, the thing that put me on the Haskins train more than anything is that the guy completed 70% of his passes. I feel like that, for the most part, translates from college to the NFL. If you're an accurate passer, you're an accurate passer. And so if Haskins can be an accurate passer in the NFL, great. Do I expect him to put up cartoonish numbers like he did at Ohio State? Of course not.
Maybe
but if he could be accurate with the ball.
Maybe if we just take a quarterback in all 7 rounds,
There's been a little bit of that thrown around.
We could have a chance of landing one decent one. Even though we don't have a 5th round pick, so
yeah,
I mean,
not with that.
even though it's a completely, it's a joke. It's not even possible.
This is true. Although we could get a 5th round pick for Leonard, maybe.
Oh yeah, sure, Leonard.
Who Leonard was a cause of much discussion on the drill again this morning as well. Just trying to suss out how much blame does Leonard Fournette deserve for the 2018 campaign, because he's been hurt.
I think he deserves a good amount.
And when he hasn't been hurt, he hasn't been good. He's been not great.
If you're on the offense and your name's not D.D. Westbrook, I'm blaming you.
Yeah, the line's been bad. Quarterback play's been bad. The receivers have been bad. And the running backs, for the most part, have been bad. Leonard basically has appeared in, a handful of games and really has one really good half to show for it. Had one really good half against Buffalo.
I just don't...
Where he looked like the Leonard Fournette we thought we drafted at number 4.
I don't know how you saved Dave Caldwell's job at this point. I mean, how many top 5 picks do you have to screw up for you?
Here's the thing, too. How do you sell it to a Jaguar fan that this guy's going to be in charge of drafting your next quarterback?
Yeah, when he could be gone then a year after.
I mean, just because if you bring Dave back, then that means the whole group, Tom, Dave, Doug, then they're making decisions in a panicky position.
Like here's
desperation mode.
Here's where I agree with potentially not making moves. Like, okay, Tom Coughlin obviously has some really good accolades to his name. Did he all of a sudden forget all of that in 1 year? No. So if you want to keep him for a little bit longer, fine. Right. Doug Marrone took you to the AFC title game last year. It overtook a putrid Jaguars team, made them go to the AFC title game last year. Did he forget how to coach in 1 year? No, probably not. But Dave Caldwell, honest to God, man, the guy has done nothing other than have Jalen Ramsey slide to him and define Yannick in the 3rd.
Right. I mean, let's look at the draft history, guys. Since Dave Caldwell's been the GM here, just the first rounders. Jokel was his first round pick. How'd that go?
Bortles.
Blake Bortles. Dante Fowler Jr. Who was 16?
Now Leonard.
Jalen, then Leonard.
Yeah.
And then Taven Bryan. Do you want that guy back to make the next first round pick?
I don't.
It's nothing against Dave personally. I'm sure he's a nice guy. Does a lot for animals. Go ahead.
Does he?
Yeah.
What's he do for animals?
He gets involved in animal charities.
Oh, okay.
Seems like a nice guy.
Okay.
But
little nugget for you guys.
He's the latest in a long run of Jaguar GMs that can't seem to draft their way out of a wet paper bag.
Mm-hmm.
He'll join the ranks of Shaq Harris and Gene Smith, great Jaguar GMs who, outside of occasionally finding a nut like a blind squirrel, seem to be not very good at their job.
I just hope. I hope Shad Khan sees it that way. I worry he's got a little bit. He gives him a little bit too much leeway.
Shad's a loyal guy. Shad's a loyal guy, and he likes to give people ample opportunity to succeed or fail.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like in the case of Dave Caldwell, he's had ample opportunity to succeed or fail. And fair or not, when you're a GM and you hitch your wagon to a first-round quarterback, that's the reality of it. When that quarterback fails, you have failed as a general manager. And really, when you look at it, the only first-round pick he's hit is one that we've all said was a no-brainer at the time, that you had to take Jalen Ramsey at number 5 when he fell into your lap. You had to. So, so that's 6 first-round picks, and 5 of them seemingly are not very good, and one of them was an absolute home run, but you feel like, a 3-year-old given a spinny wheel would have landed on Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, I think so. And honestly, like I said, I would not be uncomfortable with, honest to God, all 3 of them being gone. It wouldn't bother me. Do I think that will happen? No.
And
the only thing that I will sit here and say, I want Dave Caldwell gone. I think Dave should be gone. I think he's given enough chances. I'm okay with Marrone and Coughlin being back. That's just my stance on it.
In anger, Sunday afternoon, I may have fired off a couple of fire everybody text messages.
Sure.
Because
we all did.
But ultimately, like you said, Tom Coughlin's resume and Doug Marrone's resume don't suggest guys who deserve to be fired based on this year.
Not on 1
Dave
year.
Caldwell's 6-year resume suggests a guy who's run his course and hasn't gotten the job done.
I will say this too: in the NFL, I mean, honestly, this kind of stuff happens sometimes, and like I said, I think they just lost a lot of close games, and from there they just kind of gave up, and there's a lot of injuries, and I mean, I really honestly think you could nitpick in that 4-game stretch how they could have won all 4.
Sure.
The season, granted, they weren't ever what they were last year. But it could have gone differently because this is clearly a team, or any team, by the way. If say they had won 4 straight, I mean, it's a different football team. The momentum and everything, I mean, they play differently when they have that swag about them.
And don't get me wrong, this doesn't mean I think that Tom Coughlin has done a great job, or that Doug Marrone has done a great job this year.
No,
but I don't think they've reached the point where
I don't think
the
either
track record necessitates.
I don't think either deserves to be fired. I think that's a big problem with coaching nowadays too. Is that I mean, even look at the college ranks, and you can look at professional ranks. It's 2 coaches who have ruined things for a lot of others, and that's Nick Saban has ruined it for college coaches, and everybody wants this 4 titles in 7-year dynasty, and it's not going to happen. It's not how things go.
Right.
And it gives coaches a shorter lifespan, and then you look at the NFL, and you got Bill Belichick going to the Super Bowl every year, and that's what every team wants. But the reality of the situation is you could have a really good coach go 4-12, and the next year they could be an AFC title team, and then they could go 8-8 the next year. That's just the NFL.
We talked about this the other day, that there seems to be a lot of Pittsburgh Steelers fans that would be absolutely elated for Mike Tomlin to no longer be the coach there.
Mm-hmm.
And the level of success Mike Tomlin has had with the Pittsburgh Steelers is
Pretty
terrific.
good.
You're thrilled to have it.
Yeah.
But the bar is so high, and like you said, the perception of success is skewed based on what some guys have done, that it's changed what you view as acceptable to an unfair level.
I mean, Pittsburgh wins their division every damn year.
And they're in the playoffs every year.
Yeah. And then they pretty much will go to, almost. Honestly, I'm tempted to say they're in the AFC title game quite often.
Frequent enough.
I urge you to look around the NFL and think if what you want for your team is really what some other teams potentially we have. I don't think you guys really want that.
Yeah, could you imagine the fire sale in Pittsburgh if they had one good playoff run in 10 years?
Yeah,
and a bunch of top 5 picking seasons. They'd burn everything down. Yeah, they'd burn the whole city.
They'd have 5 coaches by now.
It'd be a riot.
Yeah,
which is not how they do it up there. On that note, now that we're depressed, we're gonna go eat our feelings. Not sure what. Hopefully, Drew brought some ice cream.
Ice cream.
Yeah, I could go for some ice cream, Drew. Yeah,
ice cream.
Sure. Probably not, as we were just getting your oil changed. Did you get anything? You pick up some Cheetos or something?
I didn't.
No. All right. Go buy your dad something expensive for Christmas. Love you, Googans. Bye.